All right, guys, let's connect it up. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully this stream doesn't turn into a podcast where you can hear the voice, but you can't see anything on there. But we'll see how it goes. We'll go for an hour. We got today is May 24th, 2020. We'll go from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Want to say Happy Memorial Day to my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, and my fighters. Memorial Day is one of those holidays that's like, should we say Happy Memorial Day? Or what's the holiday all about? And I mean, ultimately, it's what you want to make of it. Memorial Day is definitely about, to me, remembering who we lost in the armed services, people that we've lost in memoriam to in real life, friends, family, and, a lot of people, importantly, is the, military. Armed services of the United States and around the world. It's one of those things. I don't know if Memorial Day is an actual, global holiday, if other countries actually have that, but I know here in the United States, we've had it for, as far as I can remember. But ultimately, guys, thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully the stream goes okay. I know last time there was a problem with the stream, the voice, the video, everything on there too. But that's the way of the world right now. We're trying to do things the best that we can. I know YouTube, I've been watching live streams from a couple other channels, not Walking Dead related, but other stuff that I watch. And I definitely saw some problems with it. And that's all right. Some stuff happens, but ultimately we got to make the best of it. So I'll be here for about an hour. We'll go from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Walking Dead spoilers, comic show spoilers, all that stuff, because people are asked questions and I'm not sure how we're doing and what you do, what you know, what you don't know. But thank you, Mark, Xmas Girl, Michael, David, Michael again, Jay Kane, Wilson, and everybody that joined for the live stream today. And I was saying at the beginning, maybe you missed it when you came in, but Memorial Day is one of those holidays that I want to say Happy Memorial Day. And it's one of those things that you're like, do I say Happy Memorial Day? Do I not? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I think of it as a good thing. It's a holiday. It's a 3-day weekend. It's something that we can honor the people and give time for that we lost, whether in the armed services, the military, whatever you want to think of, because I have, military in my family. I wasn't in the military, but I have friends and family that were, and I've lost people over the years. And it's one of those things where, they're in another state right now, but ultimately I can't really see them in person, but I do think about it from time to time. But hopefully you guys will have a good 3-day weekend. And I see posts on Facebook and they're like, this holiday is not about a 3-day weekend and barbecues. Well, to some people it is. And it's not. If you have a party and a barbecue and have people over, it's not anything that I would assume is like, wow, you're being disrespectful of the holiday, right? I don't think it's anything like that, because some people see it that way. Some people, like Amanda says, a great thing. We're celebrating and honoring the fallen. We celebrate our liberty. That's a great point. It's a great thing too. So, it's also, 4th of July in the States is, that's honoring our liberty too. Our day, we became an independent country and everything. But ultimately, it's one of those things where we are here. The world is crazy right now. It still is, right? I'm from New Jersey, and Memorial Day is a big, big time for it. It's definitely something that the Memorial Day is the start of the summer. It's definitely hot. I don't know where you're at right now, but it's definitely hot. It's definitely hot here in Florida right now. I think tomorrow it's going to cool down a little bit. We got some burgers. We got some food that my wife and I are going to make. So we'll see what happens for the time being, but hopefully you're safe and sound and secure and you're making the best of it. Anytime it's bad and the world is in a rough patch, you got to make the best of it, right? You got to make the best of times, and it's your outlook. It's a perception. It's definitely something that your perception is reality and your perception is key. If you see this as a good thing, then you'll be okay. I know people that have won money in the lottery, in the casino, and everything there too, and they took it as a bad thing. They saw the negative at it. Well, yeah, I would have got that money, but I had to pay taxes on it. What? What are you talking about? There's just like negative things with that. They see the negative in it. And I try to see the realistic aspect, positive, negative, but be real with it on there too. So it's probably buffering, it's probably lagging, but it's YouTube. It's a YouTube thing. It's not my connection. I reset the modem. I got it all set up. We're having good output, but ultimately I think it's YouTube slowing down upload speeds on YouTube, on Facebook, on a lot of places, because there's so much demand and so many people are on it. So I think that's ultimately what it is. But hopefully you guys can hear me okay and you're up to date with what we said on here. But thank you, Wilson, Rob K, Sheila, Jason, Amanda, Wilson again, Xmas Girl, everybody, the last 5 warriors of the world. Hey, how you doing? But ultimately, guys, thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. And hopefully you're watching the news, the Walking Dead news. Well, I guess the news too. You got to stay up to date what's going around with the coronavirus and what states are doing and what's this and what's that. And mainly, as it relates to The Walking Dead, I live in Florida, and The Walking Dead does not film here. It films in Georgia. Post-production is done in Los Angeles, California, and I've had some videos recently talking about it a little bit. So I know that The Walking Dead post-production hopefully will get the green light to start, probably finish. I mean, they probably have some part of the post-production done of season 10, episode 16, because we got a trailer, we got an opening minute sneak peek clip, so they had some stuff done, and it looked good. The trailer didn't look unfinished, and it looked pretty good, right? So I think that The Walking Dead, once we can get the green light for people, studios to open up, we can get back to the studio. I say we, but I mean the post-production people for, whoever does it, whatever the company actually that finishes, if it's Raleigh Studios or AMC or Walking Dead or whatever the actually company is, they can actually finish. But the question for a lot of people is, when they finish, when are we going to see it? Are we going to wait till October if they finish it in May, in June? I hope not, right? I mean, I would think that it should be a big thing. It should be marketed. It should be advertised. It should be everywhere. Finally, we get to watch The Walking Dead, season 10, episode 16. The season 10 finale is finally going to air on this date. And we don't know the date yet. The other news is that Georgia is where they film a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies, a lot of things, not just Walking Dead, not just Marvel stuff. They film a lot of stuff in the state of Georgia. And that was one of the first states to open up. Now, I see people in the comments and they say, well, they're having more of an increase and they're having this and they're having that and we're not sure about this. But from what I've seen, they've had pretty much good numbers, and they're trying to get the movie, film, business, shows, production back, because that is a huge moneymaker for the state of Georgia and is a huge thing for companies. So if we can get filming, remember, The Walking Dead was supposed to film at the beginning of May. I believe it was May 4th. So if they can start filming this week or next, so say it's June 4th, they're a month behind schedule. Can they make that up? Can they not? Will we still get The Walking Dead in October 2020, or will we get it in November or December or January or February, whatever it is? I know when they can start filming, it's going to be a great day. I love filming season, actually. It's a great part to see what they do, what the pictures they find, pictures, stories, rumors, speculation. It's awesome to put things together. I love it. And hopefully we can get that sooner rather than later. Hopefully, Fear the Walking Dead. They haven't been filming for 2 months. They are 2 months behind schedule. That's crazy to think that Fear the Walking Dead was probably supposed to be wrapped by now. Because if they filmed an episode every, 5 to 10 days, so every 2 weeks they finish an episode, we'll just go about, right? So if they film 16 episodes, that's about 32 weeks. Sometimes it's a little less. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, depending on the episode and, stuff with lightning delays and rain delays and weather and stuff. So it's just one of those things that I just don't know where it's going to be, when we're going to get it. But hopefully, I really hope we get The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and World Beyond in 2020. But we just don't know where it is yet. Once we get information, we always share it with you guys, even if it's a small little piece of information, even if it's from other sources that some people don't agree with, don't like, don't trust. I just share it with you. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. And we always put that disclaimer out there. We're not sure if this information is going to happen or not, but we like sharing information with you. Once we get it, we share it with you. That's the bottom line with this channel. I like having a lot of information come to me, decipher it, break it down, have theories, speculation, whatever you want to do, and then talk about it and discuss it. Every video we have is a discussion video. So hopefully we can be able to get some more information about when the world can resume stuff. And more states are resuming stuff. More and more companies, more and more jobs are coming back, and I don't know how many people it takes to do post-production. You probably have a sound guy, a music guy, a VFX guy, something. There's probably 1 or 2 people for every department or for what it is. So if you have 2 people for everything in there, that may be 10 people. Why can't we get 10 people in a studio, or maybe half of that? These 5 people come in. When they finish, these 5 people come in. They clean it, sanitize it, get it all set, wear a mask, maybe not, whatever they do. Make sure they wash their hands. Make sure you're not. The biggest thing, too, I would assume, if you're not feeling well, don't go to work. Don't go in someplace you can contaminate others. Just don't do it. It's just not smart right now, too. If you have any symptoms of COVID-19 with trouble breathing, coughing, sneezing, not being your normal self, that's not allergy related, I wouldn't go to work just because it's crazy right now, too. And people are going to look at you anyway. I know I went to the dentist on Monday and they took my temperature. They asked me a bunch of questions. They did the dental work, and we were out, and everything was good. That was Monday, and I think more and more places are opening up like that. I know my wife is going to get her nails done and this stuff and all that stuff, so things are getting back to normal, which is great. And hopefully we don't have any setbacks, because that would suck if The Walking Dead starts filming or life starts to resume and people get sick. What would you do, like if Norman Reedus got COVID-19, or Lauren Cohan, or Melissa McBride? So happy birthday, by the way. Melissa McBride turned 55 yesterday, I believe, May 23rd. I know she's not watching this, but if she was, happy birthday to Melissa McBride. And Carol is one of those characters that is so different in the comic and the show that I just can't believe it. Right? If you read the comics, you know that Carol was. I don't even know what you would call her. We'll just say she's drastically different than herself on the show. I think she ended up having a relationship with Tyrese and having a relationship with a couple other people. And she was having, not all this, not the type of character that we have. She never had her arc where she turned into being an asset to the group. And she actually ended up committing suicide by letting a walker bite her in the comic. And on the show, people thought that may happen. People still think that's going to happen. People still think that Carol could die in the season 10 finale or season 11. I don't see it happening because Melissa McBride is such an important character for the show that it's just an important thing that the show would be drastically different without her, Daryl. Carol and Daryl are like the cornerstones of the show right now. I just don't know if it could be there as well. So Rob K asks, how long does it take to edit an episode? 1 or 2 weeks? Depends on if it's a VFX heavy episode or not. The music, the sound, stuff like that can be done in a couple days. Typically is what I've read. I'm not in that field. I'm not in that area. But what I've read, what Greg Nicotero has said, and a couple people have talked about post-production, they do. I just can't believe that they're talking about filming it, because they typically film from late April, early May, all the way to November with a week or 2 off. They have a couple of days, and then they go to Comic-Con in July, which is going to be online this year. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. We're probably not going to get a Walking Dead trailer if they don't film. But when they film the episodes, they wait post-production until a certain thing. So when you see trailers and stuff, that's one aspect of the trailers that are for, or the footage that's made for the trailers. That's a great question. I mean, I don't know. Usually they have an episode. The biggest thing that I saw is that when you have an episode come out, you're going to have it be a week or 2 before it comes out. They finish it. So if it's going to come out in October, the first 8 episodes probably be pretty much done in their late September. But it's crazy to think if they film April or May, they put off post-production until all that time later. I just don't get it if that's really their mindset, because every company's probably different. Everything's different if working on a movie versus a TV show. And basically The Walking Dead is 16 episodes of 42 minutes, 43 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes. I mean, the first episode of The Walking Dead it was over an hour, but that was only 6 episodes, and it's a pilot episode, so usually they're a little bit longer. But if you say hours, say each episode's an hour or just under it, you're getting 16 hours of stuff. It's just crazy to think it's basically like mini movies every time. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. Some of the CGI we know is not great. In the past, it's not been there, but they got to budget things. Stuff costs money, and they got to put time and energy into different spots that they think is warranted. So it was funny because my wife and I, we just finished we watched it on Amazon Prime, the movie Highlander. And that movie came out in 1986. and it was on Amazon Prime. And I was like, I haven't watched this forever. And my wife never watched it, so we put it on. And it's crazy to think in 1986, all the different stuff that was done there with the prosthetics, the makeup, the visual effects. It's like, wow, movies have come a long way. And like from the 80s to there too. And, it's laughable if sometimes you watch the older movies, but the stuff just wasn't there. And now, you can make movies and stuff on a budget where you're making a lot of good stuff and video effects, VFX, direct effects. It's just crazy to think practical effects. It's just pretty awesome too. So happy Memorial Day, everybody. So David, Rob, K, Ed, BB8, Jackie, David, J. Kane, Kami. It's pretty cool stuff, Arjun. Thank you guys for taking it to be here. I appreciate everybody being here this Memorial Day weekend. I know Memorial Day is tomorrow, but I don't have a live stream on Mondays. I have it on Sundays. So I would say happy Memorial Day to it. And it's one of those, holidays that I said before at the beginning, some people just entered that, should you say happy Memorial Day? I would assume so. It's a holiday, so it's made for celebration in remembrance, and a lot of people have said some great things. And, I'm in my late 30s now, and I know I'll be in my 40s and 50s and whatever. And, I just wonder if holidays are tough for people. I know some holidays, especially around the later holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving and everything, where it's towards the end of the year and maybe stuff you want to see there. I just think that Memorial Day to me is like a summer holiday. Like Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day, they're holidays that you really don't have to meet a lot of people. You can just have a cookout in your backyard or stuck at your friend's house or your family's house or whatever. Like all my family lives in New Jersey, so I'm not going to see them at all. But Memorial Day is something that hopefully will be okay, for you. And you just got to be careful. This is like Memorial Day is the first holiday since all this craziness happened since March. And I mean, we're coming up on over 2 months for the quarantine. For people are on edge right now. So hopefully we don't get crazy, and there's a lot of stuff going around and stuff go crazy with stuff. I mean, just be smart with it. My wife and I, we got some groceries yesterday and we did a couple things yesterday. So we're set for today and tomorrow. That's for sure. Ed Morris says, I'm stuck in the hospital with an infection and it's my son's 3rd birthday. So I'm sorry to hear that, Ed. Hopefully you'll get better. Hopefully it's just some antibiotics and stuff on there too. So I'm sorry that you're not doing well, and happy birthday to your son's 3rd birthday too. So hopefully you'll be getting some treatment and you'll be all right, and you'll hopefully have a good birthday. And it's crazy to think that people are having, birthdays because your birthdays are your birthdays, and it's, it's not a big thing, but birthdays are happening every day, and it's been in quarantine, and you can't have social gatherings or you probably shouldn't, but people have had parties and social distancing. They go to the people going to the beach and everything, too. Like here in Florida, I live, pretty close to the beach, not on the beach, but somewhat close on there. So people are going back to the beaches. I grew up in South Jersey, so a lot of people are going to the beaches there this weekend. I wouldn't recommend it because people are going to be all over the place, and some people are wearing masks, some people aren't wearing masks, and it's just still the gatherings are still going to be, kind of a bad idea in my opinion. So I don't know if it's a good thing, and we'll see how we do here, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of reports on the news about, there's a second wave coming, or this is happening, or that's happening on there too. So, my wife and I, we got food from a restaurant close by, and I had to go into a store and whatever. And, it still has that feeling to me when we go to a store, get your mask, don't touch anything. If you touch anything, I'm rubbing it with alcohol. Like we were waiting for the food at the bar of the restaurant, and my leg touched the chair, and I was like, oh man, I got to wipe that down with rubbing alcohol. And maybe it's being OCD, or maybe it's like that, but I was like, man, I gotta be careful with this stuff that you touch, and hopefully they wipe everything down and everything's okay. But it has that apocalyptic feel for sure still, right? And more people are getting out and about. They're going to the stores. More things are opening up. More things are getting around. So hopefully the economy is getting back, and stores are getting back, and people can go shopping, and people are going there too. I know some places are still talking about summer camps. Like, what are you going to do? Like, I used to go to camps. I used to go to soccer camp. I used to go to camp during the day. It wasn't sleepaway camp, but it was something where you'd stay there during the day. My dad worked, so I had to go away to camp because what is he going to do with me? A 13-year-old, 14-year-old kid. staying at home really wasn't the same thing at the time. So really, what would people do if people are going to be going back to work with their kids? You can't just leave them at home. Say you have an 8-year-old and you're like, what are you going to do? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's just like, man, it's just one of those crazy situations that the world's coming back to normal. But if there aren't camps, even if there are, would you send your kid to a camp? Would you go? Would you feel that it's okay to? Some people say no. Some people, it's there as well. So Barbara says, I've always been a germaphobe. Glad to have more clean. Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people too. Like after a while, like I get the mail and you're like, I don't know. Should I touch this? Should I not? I got to wash my hands after I do this and wipe stuff down on there. It's just crazy. I don't know if it's being OCD or being safe than sorry, but I'd rather just do that. I don't want to risk anything with getting myself sick or my wife sick on there as well. And, I have Crohn's disease, so I take Humira every 2 weeks. So that inhibits my immune system is what Humira basically does. And so that puts me at greater risk for infections and for everything there as well. So I'm better to be on the safe side for it. And, it's just, I don't know. It's a crazy thing. So, it looks like the video is working, even though right now it says video output low, even though before it was working pretty good. But I say that if you guys follow my series, my Fight for Us book series, this is Power. This book came out last weekend, so it's been a week since it's been out. And Power is the 12th book of the series and follows the story after Access, which is book 11. Ryan and his remaining survivors continue to hold on, but it's getting harder and harder as new problems arise, old enemies return, and power around Tampa Bay is starting to get challenged. Everyone wants to have power and control, but who is willing to fight for it? Find out in Fight for Us Power. So this is the darker cover. I got this as my proof. As you can see, it's not for sale or not for resale, but I had to lighten it, and the back of it is pretty dark. But a lot of times the publisher, it's an Amazon publishing company that I use, and it's definitely something that is on the darker side when it prints. So I have to get this, make sure it's okay, and then I made it brighter. So the copies that are coming out now is definitely much brighter. So if you want to find out what the cover looks like, you can go to my Instagram at the PT channel, on Twitter, on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, on Fight for Us page, PT channel page, a Walking Dead community page. We have a bunch of different things on there for sure too. So Jeannie says, Ohio lifted the ban on hospitals visitors just in time for my niece's husband to hold her as she died. She went in the end of March, her son's 7th birthday, and they found stage 4 cancer all through her. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Jeannie, and everybody involved with that. It's definitely something that's a crazy situation. And I was thinking about this the other day because I called my friend who was getting married in September at the Jersey Shore, and he actually just lost his father at the end of last year. And I didn't really bring it up. I didn't want to bring, because it's a sensitive subject, and I've known him and his parents since middle school, and he's one of my best friends. So it's one of those things where I can talk to him about stuff like that. But I was like, nah. But I was thinking about it too, like, because I saw on the news the other day that they were talking about the Middle East, or the Central America, and they were saying they just had a big outbreak of COVID-19. And, what would you do for all the people that are gone now? I mean, it's just like, 96,000 people in the United States, and, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world. I don't even know what the total is, but it's a lot of people. The world isn't ready for that. That's crazy to think that we've had to have do all these things with graves and funerals and burials of everything right now. And you're like, man, the world is just not prepared for that. I know it's just crazy to think that people couldn't go into the hospital to see their loved one when they were sick. And luckily, I didn't have to deal with that. No one I knew was sick, or I wasn't sick. And, a lot of those people were alone in the hospital. That's just sad. It's just a sad thing for sure that people were in the hospital alone. Hopefully they got out and they saw their loved ones and they got back to the nursing home or their home or wherever they were, and they're with family and everything's okay. But not everybody did. It's a certain percentage that would be that way, but it's crazy to think that, this disease and virus is definitely something, or the virus, I should say, is roughly not, it's definitely a crazy thing out there. I know people that have got the virus that I've talked to online They're hopefully okay. I haven't talked to them in a little bit, but they've showed me pictures and they were in the hospital for weeks. So it's just crazy to think that too. And so, hopefully you see this community as a community. We talk about The Walking Dead, we talk about shows and movies and different things, but we're also here to discuss things and be there for each other. I know a lot of people in this community right now. It's usually the people right now, that are watching, and we appreciate everybody to be here, that are there for each other. They're there for me. I'm there for you. Everybody's there to talk about each other. There's a lot of friendships that come on, and it's a YouTube friendship. They live in different states. They live in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and they talk to each other like that. And that's a great thing. I love to be part of that, let alone part of being here as a thing that we are connecting with through a channel. It's my PT channel, but it's also ours. It's definitely something that I'm a human being, and being a human being has emotions. And, being in the medical field, I meet a lot of people and I feel for a lot of people. I have great empathy and compassion, and I'd say sympathy too, but there's a difference between sympathy and empathy. I've learned that over the many years that, you can feel for somebody. You don't have to feel bad for somebody. You can feel for somebody and be for their shoes. There's a different thing for that as well. So I don't know what's going to happen in the near future. Hopefully the shows and the production and everything will get us back on track and we can get some good news about the Walking Dead season 10 finale. We're getting news. It's just nothing we can kind of say like, okay, post-production is back at it. We're going to do this. And I know a lot of people are saying a lot of stuff like, I don't think they're going to get the Walking Dead this year. We're not going to get the show. We're not going to get the season 10 finale until October. But I don't know if that's a good idea. If AMC finishes it, they should put it out, right? I mean, we all want to see it. We all want to see the episode. We all want to see how it goes. And are you glad that we haven't got a chance to watch it yet so we have something to look forward to? Or is it annoying that we haven't seen the episode, right? So we're in the state right now that we haven't seen the season 10 finale. We have seen season 10 episode 15 and the trailer and the opening of season 10 episode 16. And that's it. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that we haven't seen the episode yet? Because there's always something for us to look forward to with the episode. But so say we saw it, now what? What do we do? Well, we would have answers to a lot of those questions. We would know who the masked fighter is. Hopefully, we would know what's going to happen with, with Maggie, with Negan, with everybody involved there, with Beta. I have a video that I'm going to upload tomorrow or maybe Tuesday that I made. Like I have 2 videos that I already made that I'm going to post later this week that I just think that, my question is, do you think Beta survives into season 11? It's a great question. And we would hopefully know that answer if we watch the season 10 finale. We would know who survives, who doesn't survive, what's going to happen with Rosita, Father Gabriel, baby Coco, Maggie, maybe Herschel, Stephanie, the Commonwealth, Princess, Eugene, Yumiko, Ezekiel. There's so many questions. Carol, Daryl, Lydia, Negan, Jules, Luke, all those walkers. It's a lot of big things that should happen in the season 10 finale. It's supposed to finish with a cliffhanger. I personally think the cliffhanger is going to be the Commonwealth with, we're not going to meet Stephanie. I said that in a video about talking about the Commonwealth. I could see it being just like the comic. Everybody's got their hands up, rifles, and we don't see Stephanie. And it's like, all right, we'll meet these people in season 11. Dun, dun, dun. So, it's one of those things that we just want to know. But Rob K's like, I need my Walking Dead ASAP. I do too, it's so frustrating somewhat because you're like, man, this was supposed to be the year of so many things. 2020 was supposed to be the year of The Walking Dead. It was supposed to be Walking Dead, World Beyond, Fear the Walking Dead, and then Walking Dead again, season 11. It's just like, man, I was supposed to go on some trips. I was supposed to travel a little bit. I was supposed to, do some things with my father. My wife and I were supposed to go on a cruise. We were supposed to do all these things. And, people were supposed to get married. People are supposed to do this. People are supposed to graduate from high school. I can't imagine if I was graduating from high school or I was in college, graduated from college, how this would have been flipped upside down so much in February, March, April, May. It's just crazy to think all these things that have changed in really a short amount of time. This has really just been since March. I mean, it's probably been around since November, December, January, whatever, this virus, but it's really threw us for a loop since March. I mean, I haven't worked as a physical therapist in over 2 months. It's crazy to think that I don't even know when I'm going to go back to work. I don't even know what the new normal is going to be with wearing masks, taking temperatures. How's it going to be in the office? My, Crohn's disease and, taking Humira, having my weakened immune system. Should I do it? Should I not? I just really don't know. Right. So, Wilson says cliffhanger. Will be the lights at the train yard, Brian. I agree. I totally agree, Wilson. I think that's how it's going to be too, where it's going to be Eugene and his group, hands up, lights spotted on, with the rifles and everything. It's crazy. So, but I mean, hopefully we're learning a lot about ourselves in this quarantine. We're learning what is essential. Not just being an essential worker like a medical person, a mail person, a trash person, or this person delivering packages, working for Amazon. There's certain aspects of essential, but what's essential to you, right? And this might be a great test. I've read a lot of books and I've read a lot of things and seeing different things of ideologies and different things in your brain and how you focus on things and what can really help you see things in a positive light sometimes. And sometimes people don't see it regardless until it clicks and they have that aha moment, or maybe they never do, but that's life. And that happens in people's lives. Some people get it when they're younger, when they get it when they're older, some people never get it. But, this quarantine is happening, whether we like it or not. And it's been happening for 2 months now for a lot of people. And it's one of those things where hopefully you've learned some things about life, about yourself, about relationships, about what's meaningful to you. And to me, I've learned that, what's important to me is my friends, my family, my wife, my well-being, my cats, my house, my things around there too, and being with each other and being there for each other, whether it's a phone call or a text, and being there helpful. Sometimes it's to stay away from people, is to get away and do the right thing. Don't be like, I watched on the news yesterday. I watch a lot of the 6:30 news on ABC, the nightly news with David Muir. But I watch that from time to time. A lot of times we watch it on because it's just there and I put it on. And, there was a guy in California, that people were at the, thank you, Jackie. You are essential as well. All you guys are essential. Everybody in here is definitely essential to the channel, to the PT channel, growing this channel. I appreciate, you guys taking the time to be here. It truly means a lot to me as well. But the person in California was probably a young kid. Maybe he was a teenager. Maybe he was 20, maybe whatever. But he was probably in his late teens, early 20s. And he was like, yeah, there was a lot of people in California at the beach, and they were disregarding the orders, going against the orders, and it was great to see them doing that. And he was like happy about like, yeah, we're going against the society and going against government orders and regulations. They can't hold us down. And I agree with some sort of aspect where the people can't really hold the rights of people against them on there too. But the kid was being blatantly like, yeah, man, I'm not going to listen to nobody. I'm glad to see so many people not doing that now too. But I don't think the government wants us to do this. I mean, I personally don't think that some people do. I don't think that people want to do those things. I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, people are trying to keep us safe, right? I would hope so. I don't know. But, it's one of those things for it where we're, Memorial Day weekend. We'll see how it's going to be for sure. Xmas Girl 304. Yeah, my youngest was supposed to graduate on Friday, same day as her 18th birthday. It just stinks for these kids. So I'm sorry to hear that, but that is definitely pretty cool stuff. That she graduated from high school and 18th birthday. Is she going to go to college? Is it going to be set there? Because that's another daunting task. Are we going to be set for for August and September for going back to school? It's crazy too. So, Jeannie Schmidt says, Bry's name in my family is Gene's Walking Dead YouTuber. Thank you. Pretty cool stuff on there, right there. Yeah. Ed Morris says, fight the power. Yeah, it's that's true too. And I could see, where things are going with that and how people are, feeling that they're being tied down by the governments of the local governments, state governments, and the federal government. But I just think that we got to be on the same page, and hopefully we can all stick together and we can all get through this too, Jay Kane says, we just appreciate everything, which we should. Look how we used to live now, how we have to live. That's true, right? So one of my favorite things about the zombie apocalypse genre and writing a zombie apocalypse story and watching the movies and the shows and everything on there too, which The Walking Dead has gotten away from it over the years, is like the world is yours, right? It belongs to zombies or walkers or aliens or whatever the subgenre is. But the world is not. You don't have to pay taxes anymore. You don't have to pay bills anymore. You don't have to do any things on there. But you can go to a store, a supermarket, a sporting goods store, and whatever. In a zombie apocalypse, in a fictional zombie apocalypse, you can go take whatever you want, right? People might stop you because they want the goods too, but it's kind of like a whole unwritten rule set that you can go do whatever you want. It's up to the people now, the survivors. They inhabited the world. They take it over, right? So that's one of my favorite things is like to go in there, go to a car dealership, go to the supermarket, take all the things you need, hunker down, and stay in the house, the castle, the beach, condo, hotel, wherever you take over, wherever your camp is, your community. That's one of my favorite things too, right? And I told you about, I just watched Highlander on Amazon. We just finished it this morning, actually. And for those who don't know, spoiler warning, Highlander is a 1986 movie that came out, many years ago now. It's so many years ago. But you follow Connor McLeod, and he is immortal. And he's part of the Highlanders, basically the people that are immortal. And it's a funny thing that when you think about it, like, I think that's a kind of thing we can all think about it. Would you want to be immortal? Would you want to live forever? I think it from a standpoint as you would know so much. You would learn so much. You would have so much money, so much education, so many goods. You would be able to have so many things from different eras, time periods, so many things, and it's kind of crazy thing, right? So I definitely think that that's kind of interesting to think about it from a fictional standpoint, of course, because, unless there's immortal people walking among us, we never know. But it's definitely something that puts you in this sci-fi, fantasy fictional world. That's pretty cool. And I was just like, I just watched it this morning, so it just made me think about it too. Beetle Bob, do you think the new Walking Dead series will be a success since Fear was so bad? I hope so. I hope it's a success. And I've been rooting for Fear. Like, I'm not a person that puts down Fear because I put down Fear. I think Fear, it just could have been and should have been so much better. Like, what they wanted to do with it was just frustrating on so many levels. But either way, it's what it is, and it's been there, and whatever you want to say. But I hope so. I hope World Beyond is good. I hope it takes more things from The Walking Dead and little to no things from Fear the Walking Dead, what they learned, what not to do, what to do on there. I just hope that's what it is. But we'll see. We'll see which way they're going. Xmas Girl 304 Q&A. Scott Gimple said in The Talking Dead, after Rick's final episode, the Rick movies would have a sci-fi element. What are your thoughts, and will adding sci-fi challenge the show going forward? I don't know. I don't know if Gimple was just talking out of his butt, or if he had, because the latest news that I've had is that they didn't finish the script. They're still working on this. They're still working on that. They're still doing all this stuff. They're still trying to fix stuff. They don't have a director, or they don't have every aspect that they have. Maybe they have it now. Hopefully the script is done. I mean, what have you been doing for 2 months if a script is not done for the first movie? Are you trying to write all 3? Are you trying to do all the thing? I don't know. But if you have science fiction, if you have horror, sci-fi, horror, thriller, always comedy. You can always throw comedy in everything. but sci-fi, action, thriller, horror, zombies in there too, it can work. And there's some aspects of it. I mean, I don't know what they would do from a sci-fi standpoint of the show and the movies. Like, to me, when you think sci-fi, are you going Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica? Like, I'm blanking on the other stuff. But there's a lot of it's like a genre where you're going to outer space. Like, I don't know what are we doing in the sci-fi field? Are we doing, I'm blanking on. I'm saying Danger Will Robinson. I can't remember. I can't remember what that's called. But that's what I think of when I think of science fiction. Starship Troopers kind of thing. Like, science fiction, I guess, doesn't have to be in outer space. It doesn't have to be in, outer space for any of those things. Science fiction can just be science and fiction. It could be relating to, working on a cure. There's been some theories and some early news about being a cure aspect to it. It can be science related where you're doing experiments, where you're working in labs, where you're working on things there too. Because what's the end game? The easy end game of any zombie genre is they all die. Everybody dies. The military comes in, or there's a cure, right? Or you could have the military comes in, everybody dies, and there's a cure, but everybody's dead, so the cure doesn't matter. What a thing. You can throw little twists and little things in there as well, but I don't know what they want to do with it. Maybe Gimple talked about having things initially. Maybe that was early talk. Maybe it was old talk. Maybe they've changed things since then. I just don't know where it's going to actually end up because we don't know what it's going to be. Is it going to connect with the show? Is it going to connect with the spin-offs? Is it going to be its own thing? Is it going to be a cure aspect? Is it going to be that they are experimenting on the living, on the bitten, on the freshly acquired walkers? Are they trying to do that? I don't know. If you think about it too, let's think about Jadis. So basically she had Wilson and Lost in Space. Thank you, Heart of Nixie. Thank you. That was going to bother me. Lost in Space. I remember watching that movie in the 90s. I think it was 90s. And then now they have a TV show, and it's from a TV show, and same one there too. But so let's think about the A and B and Alive and Bitten. And so Jadis, we met Jadis, and we met Rick meeting Jadis, and we met Wilson. And we met that he was supposed to get bit by a walker, but he fought the Wilson off, and what was really going on here, and all the people Lost in Space. And thanks, Rob. But so I guess Wilson was supposed to bite Rick, right? And then we had Wilson 2.0, right? Rick still never got bit. And so if Rick got bit, was it supposed to be an A? Negan was supposed to get bit, and the A helicopter was coming, right? But Negan was supposed to get bit. So how does that be an A helicopter if A is alive and B is bitten? And why wouldn't you just take people back to the lab, back to the Pennsylvania, DC, Virginia, New York, wherever CRM's headquarters are, where they're collecting people in helicopters and they're dropping people off? There has to be walkers all around there, right? There has to be a couple of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, 5 of them in pits or whatever. They have to have them in the labs, in the areas for experimenting, wherever they have them, on the property, outside the property, whatever they're going to do. But for some reason, we're having Jadis have people get bit and then go in a helicopter miles away, by the way. Is this canon? Is it not? Does it make sense? Does it not? I don't know. I don't really know if they should ever do that. Did I lose the stream? I don't know. I think I lost some of the stream output, but let's see. I don't know if the stream is going strong. We were doing good for like 40 minutes. So I don't know if that's what happened here. But then it's back. So I don't know if I'm back streaming or not. So it says off. Oh, there we go. Stream resumed. So I don't know. We're going to go for another 18 minutes or so. But the stream is continuing. So it should all be one file. So hopefully the chat can keep going for it too. But yeah, the stream just ended on its own. But again, it's YouTube. My software, my computer, my internet is all good. So it's YouTube's end on there too. But Rob K says, how about an ending of the series like the ending of The Mist? I personally wouldn't like that. So for those who don't know, The Mist is a novel that was written by Stephen King, that was a movie that was produced by Frank Darabont, who was the showrunner of The Walking Dead for the first season and half of the second season. And there's a lot of actors in that movie. Carol, Dale, Andrea, Morales, the Tank Walker are 5 of the people that are in The Mist, but also The Walking Dead. And it's crazy to think that the ending is, who's left in there? There's Thomas Jane, who was supposed to be Rick Grimes. He initially was given the part, but he decided to go film the HBO show Hung instead of The Walking Dead. Andrew Lincoln became The Walking Dead's Rick Grimes, but Thomas Jane is the main actor there. He is Thomas Jane, his son, Andrea, and an old lady, I believe, or an old man. Or is it Dale? Does Dale make it to the end? I can't remember if Dale's there too. But The Mist is this thing that comes in. Thomas Jane has a gun, but he only has 3. He has 3 bullets, and there's 4 people in the car, I believe, if I'm remembering this right. And he decides to take everyone else out and have the last one for himself, or 4 bullets, and he waits, and then when he's about to do it, or he runs out of, I forget what it is, he runs out of bullets, or something happens with that, and he's alive. Basically, Thomas Jane is the last one to live. Everybody in the car that is with him is killed. The mist fades. The military comes in. Thomas Jane gets out of the car, sees everybody, and everybody lives except for the people that were in the car. If they just waited a little bit longer, you would have been like, it's like one of those endings where you're like, it's frustrating, because it's like if they just waited a couple more minutes, they all would have lived. But I guess that's Stephen King. Stephen King in a nutshell for it. But it's crazy to think on there too. So I see everyone's coming back. We had a little delay in the video and the stream, but that was from YouTube's end. I think it's YouTube is kind of struggling with what's happening with uploading. Even though my upload speeds have been really good for the videos that I posted, I think they're governing the speed. They're limiting the speed of how much, but don't know. It's YouTube's end, Adam. So he says stream is glitching bad though. That's on YouTube's end. That's not on ours. So I'm gonna go for a couple more minutes, and I think that we'll answer a couple more questions. We'll hang out a couple more minutes, and then we'll be done, and then we'll be back to next Sunday as well too. So we were going good for like 42 minutes, and then the last couple minutes have been tough for it too. So it's YouTube's end. Again, I apologize for that. But thank you guys for being here. Happy Memorial Day for everybody involved watching this stream, being a part of it. I appreciate. Definitely check out The Mist if you haven't watched that already. It's a good movie. It's a good, solid, horror movie on there. It's definitely something that I appreciate watching. And, after watching The Walking Dead and watching that, it's definitely pretty cool. And a little fun fact, if you will, Thomas Jane, who played the Punisher in the movie, The Punisher, they filmed a lot of that movie in Tampa Bay. And he filmed some scenes right outside the University of Tampa where I went to school. And Thomas Jane, it's funny because he was supposed to be Rick Grimes. That would be so crazy if I was like, man, I met Thomas Jane, Rick Grimes, back in the day. So when I was in college at University of Tampa in, what was it, years, 2004, 2005 or something. And I wake up in the middle of the night, fire alarms are going off. And I'm like, what the heck is going on, right? And the fire alarms are going off for everybody. And so we all have to leave the dorm. We go outside in our pajamas or whatever. It's like 2, 3 in the morning. And, we don't know what's going on. Turns out that somebody put a clothing hanger on one of the sprinkler heads in their room, and it broke the thing that breaks when it heats up, and then that triggered it to turn off that some of the alarm and stuff, or something. It was something crazy. So either way, the fire alarm was triggered, and we went outside. We don't know how long it was going to take, and we see these lights and people walking towards one end of the campus. It's not a big campus, but we walked on there too. And we're walking there, and we're seeing all this group of people is standing there. And we're like, what's going on here? And, there's like 5, 10, 15 people, right? It's kind of crazy that all these people were gathering together. And so we go there, and we're like, they're filming a movie, and it turned out to be The Punisher. And I guess we were making too much noise. The director or somebody came over and was like, hey guys, we're trying to film a scene here. Be quiet. Can you be quiet a little bit? We don't know. Because cars are driving down. They blocked off some of the street, and cars are going down and turning around and coming around and doing this, and there's a scenery comes out. And then I guess we were still making noise, and then Thomas Jane came over, the star of the show. He was like, hey guys, we're trying to film this last scene on here for the night, and came over and signed a couple autographs. Like, if you guys can be all quiet, we appreciate it. And he signed a Punisher shirt and whatever. It was really cool. And he was really nice. Nobody was really mean to us, but it was really cool. And then, I went back to the dorm and went inside and went to bed. And then I called my friends and whatever the next morning or next day. And I was like, yeah, man, we're filming this movie here, the Punisher and stuff on there as well. And he's like, you met Thomas Jane? I'm like, yeah, it was Thomas Jane. He was like, oh, he's in this and this and this. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think about anything. And didn't think any of it or what. But, Xmas Girl 304 says, Carol survived. Yep, Carol survives at the end of the Mist as well. It's a different character, but Melissa McBride is at the beginning of the movie, and then you don't see her to the end, and she survives. And she asks Q&A, are you interested in HBO Max streaming service? Yes and no. I don't really need any more streaming services. I really don't. I mean, it's crazy to think of all the different streaming services are out there, and that I don't have Hulu and Roku or a couple of those things. But HBO Max is something that I don't even know how much it is. But I know Friends is on there. My wife loves Friends. That's her favorite show of all time. So, and I know the Snyder cut of Justice League is going to be on there, and a couple other things are going to be there too. But, I already have HBO, the HBO Go, so I don't really, HBO Max is, I don't know. It's just, I have to look into those things. I have the Disney Plus and Amazon and Netflix and stuff. We have all these different accounts where we're like, man, I don't really need any more. But if HBO Max has some different cool things, it was pretty interesting for it. So hopefully the stream's doing okay with the video. I know it says my output is low and it's buffering and whatever on there too, but it was going good for like 40 minutes on there too. But thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. I showed you the Power book cover on there, pretty cool stuff. I'm very proud of the book series. And I had someone ask me a question. Oh, someone was rude on Instagram or whatever. They were saying, how can you make so many books in so many years? And, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed of yourself. Why would I be ashamed of myself if I'm having the ability and the capacity to write books in a matter that I put books out and people like them? Not everybody does, but a lot of people do. And so I like writing it, and it's pretty impressive, I would say, to be able to have so many books in over 3 years. In April it was 3 years that I put the book series out. And Power came out last week. So in over 3 years, I have 12 books of the Fight for Us series and one of my prequel series. So I have 13 books in, just over 3 years. And I think that's pretty good. I think it's impressive to write a book, let alone have a series of books. And, it's interesting that, comic books are different writing, but they come out every month. It's more the drawing aspect of it and on there too. So I know that it's definitely a thing where, the story is what it is, and I would love to be able to take more time with it, but I enjoy writing the book series and putting time into it, and I think we have a pretty good series for what it is, and, being an independent person, it's pretty interesting to have the series go as strong as it is, and people really enjoy reading it. Just like not everybody likes The Walking Dead, right? People are like, the show is still on? How is the show still on? This show hasn't been good since season 5. And it's like, then don't watch it. If you don't like the book series, don't read it. If you don't like a show, don't watch it. If you don't like a movie or an actor, don't watch it. Like, what do you want? What do you want, right? But that's what people do. People love to do that. And people usually talk about stuff that they don't even read or they don't even think. They're just trolling and they're causing problems, which is, it's annoying. It's super annoying, especially for the people that like a certain thing. Why go in there and cause problems for people who like it? It's like going into a chat where people who like a certain thing and just saying, this sucks, blah, 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 and then just running out of it. And you're like, great, right? Xmas Girl 304 asks a great question. Who was a better Punisher, Thomas Jane or John Bernthal? Well, they're two different things, too. Like, Thomas Jane was more of a, before Marvel became Marvel Studios and Marvel movies, and it's like it was a different setup, too. I would love to see a Punisher done in a Marvel way now. That'd be pretty awesome. Kind of like a Deadpool, kind of Marvel, Fox, now Marvel. But that would be good. But John Bernthal was definitely different. It's two things. I mean, it's like they're both Punishers, but I go John Bernthal because you can get away with a lot more on Netflix. John Bernthal was pretty amazing in there. When meeting John, a couple times, and he was awesome. He was a nice guy. He was an awesome dude. He's like a regular person who's an actor who it was just pretty awesome, And I love meeting actors and people, and you still like them. It makes you like them more, right? When you met John Bernthal on the cruise and his son and everything, it was like, man, that's really cool. When you get to meet somebody and they're cool and they're down to earth, and you're like, man, that was pretty awesome to be like, man, that's a big movie star, a big actor, and he was like a regular dude. I really, really enjoyed that. I really hope they have a season 3 of The Punisher. That was really cool. And I was thinking about it too, like, it's tough for people after you're on The Walking Dead to not be that character. And I would assume that John Bernthal is probably the biggest person outside of after being killed off on The Walking Dead in season 2. Like, he did The Punisher and other movies after being taken out of The Walking Dead on season 2. And Lauren Cohan is trying to done stuff. She's still on The Walking Dead, but she's tried to do stuff outside of The Walking Dead. So did Emily Kinney. So did like a lot of actors. Abraham probably. Michael Cutlitz is probably the next one. That's pretty on there too. But it's pretty cool to see. Like, it's always cool. Like Peter Dinklage will always be Tyrion. And certain people, that'll always be Jaime Lannister. That'll always be Harrison Ford. That'll always be that person. That actor is synonymous with that role. They're always going to be that person on there too. Even if they're not, Norman Reedus is always going to be Daryl Dixon. He's always going to be on there. It's crazy too. So, but yeah, Gene says, she writes, how dare you be productive and creative? Xmas Girl ashamed. Well, that's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't know if I got a screenshot of it on Instagram before I banned them. It's just like crazy, right? It's just crazy that people would harp on people for being productive, for being creative, for being, hardworking and getting stuff done, right? Like I would never be like, how dare you be productive individual and be a great person and have a house and a car and a job and kids and everything. How dare you do that in this world? You're doing big things. You should, it's like, what are you talking about? It's the people who don't do anything, that sit and are unproductive, that don't do anything and are ashamed with themselves, and they post it and they attack others for it. But that's what people do, and it's too. So Janie Sharder says, I'm a publishing major at university, and to be honest, your output is too high. It would scare publishers off. Well, I don't have a publisher. My publisher is myself. I'm an independent person. I do it through myself. I make the covers. I edit it. I write it. I do everything on there too, right? So the output is too high for probably the normal person on there too. But I'm not part of that. I'm myself. I'm my own productive person on there too, right? There's people out there. I always go back to this where Lady Gaga, who's Stephanie Mark, she's got like this whole bunch of names, but her name is Stephanie, right? She went to music school or music college or whatever on there too, and she was a music person on there too. And people made fun of her. And people said, you're not going to do this and you're not going to do that. And you know what? She did her own thing on there too. Same thing, Taylor Swift. She came up with her own thing. She came up there. She went to the record contracts, record deals, paid all these things, did all this stuff, and wanted to have it on there too. Decided not to go that way, do her own thing, and to have that, and is a huge, music star. And so I'm doing it my way, Janie, And I don't have a publisher. I don't have a company. I don't have anything that's out there too. If I did, then we could talk. If I had a contract, if I had something with that, then I would go in the guidelines of it. And also, I would have help. I would have a production company. I would have an editor. I would have an artist. I would have all these people to help me. But I don't, and I still do it. So I'm not worried about being the norm of it. I don't know what the norm is. I'm not in that norm. I'm not in that world. I'm not in that. I'm not a publishing major, or I'm not a writer. I'm not to go to school for that. I'm that. I'm myself. And people like it. People don't. I don't know. All I can do is be me. But, at the end of the day, that's all you can be. And I feel like I'm a good, hardworking individual. But, it's what we do. Keep working. Keep rolling. Keep striving. Oh, man, got a thing here. It says not responding. Hopefully we're going all right. But we're going to go a couple more minutes, guys. Hopefully we're doing good for the stream. I don't know. I saw a question that I wanted to answer from Zach. Hey, Brian, wouldn't it be interesting if they cast Rick Grimes' brother as someone older once they get into original content, maybe Robert Patrick or Christopher Walken? That's interesting, Zach. I don't know if they're going to bring that character around. That would be pretty cool. I like the idea. I like the idea of it being, I like the Jeff Grimes, Rick Grimes' brother from the Alien comic, the Walking Dead Alien comic, the one issue of it. I like that idea of it being there too. That would be pretty cool if they go that route of some sort of connecting point, but they should have laid that groundwork already, that Rick talked about his brother, or Rick talked about that at some point. Then it would have made more sense. It may just come out of left field where it's like, I don't know, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, it's just funny. Like, so, like, if you're a comic book writer, that stuff comes out every month. Certain comics come out quarterly, they come out monthly, they come out there too. So, I don't know if that's too much output. I don't know. But again, like, thank you for the input, Janie Charter. But I'm not worried about other people because I don't work for them. If I had a boss, if I had a company that I work for, if I worked for a thing, if I had a contract with somebody or a literary agent or somebody like that too, if I had stuff to report to, then I could have the input and I could work on it. But again, I would also have help and that would be great too. But if I had all that, I would have I don't know, maybe I would reach the masses. I would have a lot of things there too. But I got a lot of story in me. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of story to tell. And I got a lot of ideas, motivation, inspiration, creativity. I have a lot of stuff going still. Book 12, Power, is over the halfway point. I said it before that I had about 20 books in my memory bank, I guess my idea bank. I don't know what you want to call it. But I think it'd be pretty interesting to have that and then to go from there. Once the 20 books, we'll just say I write the 20 books, right? That doesn't mean that's the end of the story. That means that it could be done one aspect of the story, one part of the story, one series, one area of the story, which would be pretty cool too. So, but thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. And I'm sure that the trollers, haters, or whatever will say that too. But I appreciate the input. Where'd you go? Sadie, Janie, whatever your name was. But I appreciate it. It went away on me now. Janie, I appreciate it on there as well. But hey, if you know somebody, hook it up. Hook a publisher up. Send them my way. Get it stuff done. We'll do that. You know anybody at Amazon? Hey, man, I'll sign a contract. We can get a movie, show, production series on that going. Let's do it. Let's do it. But ultimately, guys, thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. Sorry for the stream problems the last 20 minutes or so, but we had about 40 minutes, so we did good. We had a good one there too. But happy Memorial Day to my Walking Dead family, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, and my fighters. Thank you guys for being here. Be safe out there. Just still be social distancing and doing all the stuff we're supposed to do to flatten the curve and get rid of this virus once and for all, or the best we can. So thank you guys for being here. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's all about being true to yourself, blocking out the haters, staying true to yourself. And I'll be back next Sunday to talk about all the news that we have about The Walking Dead, TV show, spinoffs, movies, whatever we got. Thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. Stay safe, and we love you guys.